Okay, on this episode of Soole Garage, we are going to attack these A-pillar caps. And I showed you my silicone filler, my rust hiding filler in my previous episode. And to get these caps off, we're actually going to sand along this flange all the way down and along here, which will show me where my spot welds are, and then I can drill out those spot welds and hopefully remove the cap. So if you take a closer look, you can kind of see these indentations or the spots that didn't sand off. And those are where the spot welds are located. And now I'll take my spot weld cutter and I'll drill those out. Here's an example of how I drill out these spot welds. I use a small pilot bit first and drill a starter hole, and then this bit will go straight, hopefully. And we don't want to go through both pieces of metal. Then with the panel separation tool, we get in there and start taking this apart. Want to be careful with the air chisel because we don't want to damage this inner fender. So I've started to peel this back, and I decided to make a cut along the seam there and along here, and peel this piece, this cap off, then work on getting these flanges removed. I'm making a real mess here. Cut along this edge, and I'm peeling this back. And these support pieces that hold the door hinges are also spot welded onto this cap, so I've got to peel those back. And all right, well, we'll peel it off of there and get this cleaned up and see what other rust damage we have. The cap is removed. I still need to pull the rest of this little flange off of there. And we'll get this cleaned up. See what we've got. Looks like down here I need a little bit of repair, but I will take a wire wheel and clean up all of this rust inside here and treat it. I still need to take this little flange off here, and here. I've sanded it, and you can see the indentations where the spot welds are. And so we'll drill out all the spot welds that we can get to, and then peel these little strips off too. Lots of work. I had to do a little fabricating before I close this up. And this is a hinge mount plate, which goes right here. The hinge will screw to it. And then I had to fabricate this little bracket. So I'm going to spot weld my new bracket in place, which holds this plate, and I need to not make it too tight so that there's some adjustment in this plate. So when you're putting your door on, you've got some up and down and back and forth movement. And as you can see, this is the side that was the worst, and I put a new patch in right here. Still need to grind my welds down and dress it up underneath as well, but that's the only rust repair that I had to do. So I'm not trying to take any shortcuts. I'm just trying to replace any bad metal, and I didn't want to replace the entire inner fender and the rocker panel and the A-pillar when everything seems pretty solid except for a few rust holes. So this is the route I'm taking. I'm going to put a piece back in here too. It allowed me to vacuum out and inspect the inside of that rocker panel, which is pretty solid. So got a little grinding and dressing my welds, and we'll get this all cleaned up and treated with a rust encapsulator, and then we'll put our caps back on. So this tool's a time saver. It's actually a flange tool and an air punch tool. So instead of drilling all of my holes, I can just punch them with this punch tool on my spot weld. Pretty nice. Doesn't distort the metal. Punches a nice clean hole. This is a Central Pneumatic brand. Not the most expensive one out there. There we go. All the holes are punched for my spot welds. Now I have to do this side too. So I took a wire wheel and I cleaned up all the surface rust, cleaned it up real good, and then sprayed a rust encapsulator on it, except for here where I'm actually going to be welding. So just prepping this for my new cap. ready to spot weld. Got everything screwed and clamped in place, and everything prepped underneath. Other side. Everything's primed. Let's fire up the welder. Okay, the A-pillar caps are finished. Just sprayed a primer on them. Eventually I will finish the entire inner fender and the engine bay. We'll clean that up and paint it prior to installing the engine, but just wanted to show you my finished product and tell you how thrilled I am to get another piece of rust taken care of on the Bronco, and eventually we'll have a nice solid vehicle. So I want to thank you again for watching and following along with my progress on my 74 Bronco restoration. Stay tuned, got lots more to do. Thanks again.